I just finished watching the George Groves, Chris Eubank Jr. press conference. This was a very interesting and very entertaining press conference as far as I'm concerned. There wasn't any tables thrown. There wasn't any brawls. There wasn't any glasses of water thrown. There wasn't any mentioning of people's family members or personal life situations. But what there was a very intriguing but cordial verbal exchange between the two fighters. You can tell, obviously, and we all know there's a lot of history between the two of them in terms of sparring each other. And you could tell there was a familiarity there. And with familiarity breeds contempt, as I mentioned in previous videos. They both seem supremely confident. And I guess people are going to read the body language and the questions both fighters were asking in this press conference in different ways. Some people are going to look, and I've already seen on social media, some people are looking at George Groves, who was quite reserved at a press conference and who didn't really want to elaborate a lot when he was answering questions. A lot of people are looking at that and saying, well, Groves looks nervous. Personally, I didn't think he looked nervous at all. To me, George Groves looked like a man who was a veteran, and he is a veteran. He's been there, he's seen it, he's done it all before. So he was coming out with these quirky, witty little responses to the things that Eubank Jr. was saying, which got some laughs from the press in attendance. But he really wasn't opening up much. I don't think he feels like he has to. And at the same time, I think Groves was being guarded because he don't want to allow Eubank Jr. to affect him emotionally. George Groves at the moment, I think, has tunnel vision and is just concentrating on what he has to do in the fight. And he's not interested in getting caught up in any type of exchanges with Chris Eubank Jr., which, as I say, could elicit an emotional response. He understands he has to keep away from emotion. Don't get sidetracked into the games Eubank Jr. is trying to play. Just keep his eyes on the prize. That's what I saw from George Groves. I didn't see a guy who looked nervous or anything like that. I didn't see a guy who, you know, was in any way doubting himself. That's not what I saw. I don't think he needs to get involved in any kind of trash talking. Eubank Jr., on the other hand, one way of people interpreting what he was doing there was that he's very confident because he was the one, you know, doing the provoking. He was poking around and seeing if he could get a response out of George Groves. Some people will see that as he's being dominant, he's confident, he's bullying. But other people might see it as a sign of weakness from Chris Eubank Jr. That he actually feels like he has to do that because he wants to find out what's going on in George Groves' head. Because he feels like he needs to be reassured that Groves isn't as confident as he's making himself out to be. That Eubank Jr. is trying to give himself some confidence by finding out how Groves is really feeling. And one thing that might back up that particular belief is that Eubank seemed very interested in the views that Groves had of him. Eubank was still talking about the sparring sessions. He was saying, well, why do you think I'm a fraud when those sparring sessions were competitive? Like, what percentage would you say of those sparring sessions did you get the better of it? And he constantly kept asking George Groves this question. Now, it could be because he's trying to get under George Groves' skin. Or then again, it could be because he's thinking in his head, why doesn't George Groves rate me? I don't get it. Maybe that's a sign of insecurity on Chris Eubank Jr.'s behalf. I don't know. I'm just putting the different viewpoints out there that people have, the different interpretations that people have of what went on at his press conference. Whatever the case may be, you guys watch it for yourselves if you haven't already seen it, and let me know what you think about it, because I found it to be a fascinating, very interesting press conference. Both guys are individuals who like to play mind games. Both guys are quite clever, at least in terms of the psychological aspect of boxing, they're quite clever. They're quite shrewd. That's what I believe. I think they know what they're doing psychologically. But will either or both of them fall foul of being contemptuous of the other? That's still the question I got in my head after watching that press conference. So yeah, very, very interesting stuff. Very entertaining. You know, Eubank Jr. seems supremely confident to me. George Grove seems supremely confident. That should hopefully make for a dramatic fight. Because somebody surely is going to get shocked in this fight. One of them is going to get shocked. Maybe both of them get shocked. And by shocked, I don't necessarily mean they're going to lose. I mean, they're going to be shocked by the fight being more difficult than they expected. So we'll see what happens. Let me know what you felt about the press conference, what your interpretation of it was. Drop your comments in the comment section below. It's Hatman, I'm out.